Perhaps you're not sure what to ask before, during, and after your inspection, so let's go ahead and discuss that. The first thing that you might be wondering is if you even need a home inspection in the first place. And my go-to answer is always a yes, because you don't want any surprises, number one. And number two, think about when you go to a car lot to purchase a car, you don't just pick it out and purchase it without test driving it first and looking at its history, whether it's been in an accident, whether this, that, or the other. So why would you do the same for the biggest purchase of your life? It doesn't make sense, right? So I'm glad that we agree on getting a home inspection. Let's go ahead and discuss what you should be asking prior to your home inspection. So as a first-time home buyer, I am certain that you are working with a trusted, well-knowledgeable realtor that has a large vendor list of several people that they have done business with and has serviced their clients. My process is basically goes something like this, because we usually partner with Bridge Home Inspection. Once the appointment is booked, they usually quote us the price after we send the MLS sheet over to them. And then I highly recommend that your real estate agent and yourself, you and your family, show up to the inspection. Say if it's scheduled for 12:30, they have you show up on the tail end of it, just to make sure that the inspector has enough time to look over the house, do his protocol before he puts it all into a report for you. And when we show up to the tail end, that's when we begin to ask all of our questions to him and ask him those things that we're just not sure of, especially what red flags or concerns he has seen with the home. Given that he's very experienced, he's probably done dozens and dozens and probably thousands of home inspections. He or she will usually return their report to the client within about a 24 to 48 hour time frame. And then that is the time where you get to review it with your realtor and make sure that everything you discussed matches what's in the report. And if there's something that he left out, we can always hop back on the phone with them to clarify what it is that is written in the report. But if for some reason you are scheduling an inspection on your own without your realtor, and I'm not sure what reasons that would happen, but if that's the case, then you want to make sure to ask what time you should show up, how much it's going to cost, and what does the inspection cover. So most inspections will be general, so they can't tear down into walls. They can only see what is visible to the eye. They can't pull out appliances and different things like that, but they could definitely look around, and there are certain things based on their experience that will let you know what it is that they recommend or what their concerns are, or whether there is one or not. And during the inspection, so as I mentioned, you show up on the tail end, ready with all your questions. The first question I like to ask the inspector is, what did you see, or what are you going to put in your report that were kind of those red flags? So we're looking for major concerns or issues, whether he saw a big water spot in the ceiling that seemed to be dried up, whether it was broken glass, or anything that could pose a safety hazard or can lead to a major repair down the road. And in most cases, some inspectors are even taking a drone up on the roof or climbing up there on their own, taking pictures of different broken tiles and different things like that. So they'll usually let you know, hey, I think the roof's pretty old. You know, this home was built in, say, 1987. The roof has never been repaired. That might be something that you want to consider in your negotiations with your real estate agent. And another thing that you want to ask is, how do certain things function? So if you have never owned a home with a pool and you're purchasing a home with a pool, then you are going to want to know how it operates. So the general function of it, where the shutoff valves are, where different things that pertain to whatever it is that we're looking at. So you definitely want to ask all those questions to make sure that you get a clear picture on how things operate and what to do in case of an emergency and so on. So this leads us to after the home inspection. You will receive your report in about 24 to 48 hours. Once you receive it, you're going to review it with your real estate agent and kind of just make a list of those line items. And as I mentioned, your realtor will have a plethora of vendors that are vested and trusted that they work with. So what I recommend doing is kind of doing an itemized list. So starting with those things that are kind of safety hazard, big concern, major issue, put those at the top, and then your real estate agent will begin to get quotes. So whether it's a cracked window, you want to call your window guy and get a quote to fix that, or whether it's if the house doesn't have appliances, you kind of want to get quotes about that to see what additional costs you're going to have outside of those regular closing costs to acquire the home. And from here, you basically have two options to decide with your realtor. You want to decide what are those major repairs that you want to focus on and maybe have done prior to you moving in, and whether you want to ask for a credit from the seller or whether you want to put in a repair request and ask them to repair it. It is completely up to you. I have certain recommendations that I offer based on just my experience, because in some cases, if you do ask for a repair request to be made, say if it's the broken window, they come and they just get maybe an uncle or a relative or something relatively cheap because they're not trying to spend a lot of money, additional money on the house to have it fixed, but maybe it's not in the best quality or in a standard that you would like to see. So what I always recommend is maybe having your own vendor come out and service it for you. That way you don't create a middleman with the seller. You and the vendor, if the work's not up quality, which hopefully it is, then you get to deal directly with them rather than trying to go through the seller and be like, who did you get to fix this? I hope that helps give you a basis of what you should be looking for before, during, and after a home inspection. If you would like to know more, send me an email, or if you're ready to make a jump into buying a home for your very first time, I would love to help you, as we do all the time. And it's a very exciting process for my first-time home buyers, and it's definitely one that I enjoy time and time again, first-time home buyer or not. And I just want to encourage you to sign up for our monthly newsletter. It's action-packed with not only real estate news, but things to do in Las Vegas as a local or as a new resident that has maybe recently moved into town. But my name is NashiraGamino, your Las Vegas realtor. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.